In today's video, we will talk about the early life of Napoleon Bonaparte, a Corsican-born French military commander and political figure who became known during the French Revolution and commanded successful campaigns during the Revolutionary Wars. Italian ancestry ran deep in Napoleon's family. His maternal grandparents, the Remolinos, were descended from a minor Genoese noble family, while his paternal ancestors, the Bonapartes, were descended from a minor Tuscan noble family that emigrated to Corsica in the 16th century. By marriage and birth, the Pietracentes, Costas, Paravicinis, and Bonellis, all Corsican families from the interior, were also related to the Bonapartes. Casa Bonaparte was the name of the ancestral residence that his parents, Carlo Maria de Bonaparte and Maria Letizia Romolino, kept in Ajaccio. On August 15, 1769, there, Napoleon was born. He was the family's third son and the fourth kid overall. He had younger siblings Lucien, Eliza, Louis, Pauline, Caroline, and Jerome, as well as an older brother named Joseph. Napoleon was given the name Napoleon at his Catholic baptism. His name was also spelled Napoleone, Nabulio, Napoleon, and Napoleon when he was younger. In the same year that Napoleon was born, the Republic of Genoa granted France possession of the Corsican peninsula. In the year of his birth, France invaded the island, and the year before that, the state had sold its sovereign rights after 14 years of independence and 500 years under Genoese rule. It was eventually constituted as a province in 1770. Napoleon's parents joined the Corsican resistance while Maria was pregnant him, and battled against the French to preserve Corsica's independence. His father Carlo, an attorney, began working for the new French administration following the Corsican loss at Pont Novo in 1769, and Pasquale Pauli's exile in Britain. He was later chosen to represent the island at the court of Louis XVI in 1777. As a patriotic citizen, Carlo enthusiastically assisted Pasquale Pauli in the Corsican Republic's battle of independence against France. Napoleon's mother had the biggest impact on his upbringing. Because of her stern discipline, which controlled a rambunctious child, Napoleon later remarked, "The future destiny of the child is always the work of the mother." In her second marriage, Napoleon's maternal grandmother married into the Swiss Fesch family, and for a while, Napoleon's uncle, Cardinal Joseph Fesch, served as the family's defender. Napoleon had more possibilities to learn than the average Corsican of the period due to his noble and fairly wealthy upbringing. He relocated to the French mainland when he was 9 years old, and enrolled in a religious school in Autun. This occurred in January 1779. He transferred to a military academy in Brienne-le-Château in May while receiving a scholarship. He was an outspoken Corsican nationalist in his youth, and favored the separation of the country from France. Napoleon read and spoke both Italian, the official language of Corsica, and Corsican, the language he grew up speaking. At roughly age 10, he started taking French classes in school. Although he developed fluency in French, he never learned how to correctly spell the language and spoke with a pronounced Corsican accent. Napoleon, as a result, experienced unfair treatment from his classmates. He was not an isolated incident, though, as fewer than 3 million of France's 28 million inhabitants were thought to be able to speak basic French, and even fewer could write it. Napoleon was often ridiculed by his contemporaries because of his accent, place of birth, small stature, manners, and slow French speech. He grew withdrawn, depressed, and focused on reading. An auditor said that Napoleon had always been distinguished by his application in mathematics. He has a good understanding of geography and history. This young man described that he would make a great sailor. Napoleon also has a story in which he demonstrates his leadership skills by leading small students to victory over older students in a snowball fight at school. Napoleon developed a temporary interest in writing as a young adult and wrote a romantic novel and works about the history of Corsica. At 1784, Napoleon completed his education at Brienne and enrolled at Paris École Militaire. When the loss of his father caused his income to decrease, he began training to be an artillery officer, but was compelled to finish the 2-year program in only 1 year. He was the first Corsican to complete his military training. Pierre-Simon Laplace, a renowned scientist, examined him. And so we have come to the end of our video about the early life of Napoleon Bonaparte. Subscribe to my channel for the full series of the life of Napoleon Bonaparte. Don't forget to like the video.